Hey guys, it's Jake from State Fun. Why don't y'all come check out our newly renovated camper? So we're actually camping this week too. First camping trip in the camper. Pretty excited. So about a year ago, we actually came up here with the truck camper before it was renovated and before we put the Cummins motor in it. Check that out, linked in the description below. And it was very slow going up the hill. My my smartwatch actually thought I was biking at one point in time because we were going so slow and rattling so much. But I tell you what, this trip, that Cummins motor just plowed right on up through here, and it's gonna be a fun weekend. So I picked up the camper off of Craigslist about 3 years ago. Had the original straight six, and I bought it from the second owner. And what I was told, it had never actually been removed from the body. The camper was never removed from the body except for once for painting of the truck. Of course I got it, took the body out, or the camper off, drove it around a lot, stuck the camper back on, messed with it some, took it camping a little bit more, and then blew up the engine, and y'all know the rest. Frame swap actually went pretty well. It's got a little bit longer wheelbase, so the wheels look a little bit funky in the wheel well, but overall it was a pretty smooth transition from Cummins frame to house car body. So we're obviously not quite done with the body swap. I've got to replace the rear axle and get rid of the dualies in the front, get it back to the original look, and that'll be coming up in a future video. But the rest of the body swap went together pretty well. Now y'all can check those videos out later, but for now, let's go do a before and after reveal. Now, check out what it looked like before. It had a little bit of a darker color to it. It had a natural wood with stain on it. Kind of gave it more of an orange coloration, and it just kind of had a dim look to it. Now, if you take a look here, a little bit more brighter white and kind of a happy feel to it. Are you a happy camper? So during the renovation, we actually found a lot of wood rot that was due to a lot of water leakage around the windows and the trim pieces. So we went through and pulled all of those out, resealed them, and replaced all of the screws with the nice rubber base roofing screws so that we don't have any more rot in the future. We pulled all the side panels off, all the panels off the roof, got down to the bare bones and studs of this camper, and we took that time to be able to reinforce the roof and put in our air conditioner, run electrical lines for electrical outlets near the bed and light switches and lights in the ceiling. And then once we got everything secured, we went ahead and started putting up all of our shiplap panel board, got it cut out to the rounds and shapes that we needed, trying to put seams where they would be least noticeable. Got a clean flat roof panel for the roof line. Ended up having to cover up our screws and gaps with a trim board that turned out really nice. Cleaned everything up with some caulk and some white paint, and here we are ready to go camping. So the kitchen here actually had a silver backsplash beforehand. We had to take that down, and we found some mold spores behind it. So we had to make sure we got rid of those safely and as efficiently as we could. We've put up this nice green stick-on tile here, painted the windows, put up a nice white thick trim board, some green curtains, obviously decorated for fall with a nice green truck salt shaker. Stovetop here was brown before, so we made sure to scuff that up, painted it a nice black color, got it located a little bit further to the right to give us as much counter space here as we could. And this sink actually was a little bit too deep previously. So with the depth of it, we couldn't actually have a faucet behind the sink. It had to sit over to the right, which ate up some of the precious counter space. The cabinet countertop, we actually cut out from a 1/2-inch sheet of plywood, attached a trim board to it so that it gave it a nice thicker edge, and then contact paper over top of the board and a polyurethane to seal it. And of course, the coloration of the cabinets down below, going from that brown color to a little bit more of a green tint, really ties in the green truck and a lot of the green accents within the camper. That same piece of plywood that we used for the countertop, we used here. We cut it out to the same dimensions of the original table, attached the two pieces together to make it a lot thicker and more robust, and then attached the trim board pieces and the table connectors and the table leg to end up with this masterpiece that's able to turn into a table, lays down into here to make it into a bed that we use for the doggos, or stands up flat to give you more leg room in the seated position here. If you remember, up there in the front corner, we actually had a lot of wood rot and water damage. Had to replace that, got it fixed up, replaced the board that the bed sits on. I made a shelf over here on the far corner for my phone to sit on, right next to the electrical outlets we put in. And I actually put in a folding shelf here that I'm able to fold out and allow Emily's phone to go right on there with the electrical outlet and light switch right there, and this will fold right back out of the way when you want to use the bench seat for dining. So we've got a mirror here on this door and cabinet shelving that allows us to store our clothing and essentials. This was originally actually a wardrobe. More cabinet shelving for the doggos' toys and food bowls, and obviously a refrigerator here for all of the essentials. Majority of this area over here was actually only touched for paint and to run electrical wires for the air conditioner here, as well as the lights and light switch and electrical outlets there. We did lay a floating floor on top of the existing flooring. This is a nice LVP floor. Laid that on top and put down the quarter round trim around the edges. We got quarter round going all the way around the corners on the ceiling. And to make some of the curves, we actually used a PVC quarter round. And that bends very nicely to mend to whatever format you need. I've got this electrical box here. This is actually batteries. It comes out to be 12 volts. And what that does is actually turns on an LED light strip here so that at night you can see to get where you need to be. Hey guys, if you liked all that content and you like the look of this, make sure you leave me a like on the video and then subscribe down below. It really helps out the channel and it lets me know that you actually really do like my content. So the majority of what I do on my channel is whatever I get into on the weekend, whether it be cars, trucks, tractors, farm equipment, skid steers, who knows? I've got videos of us doing the Cummins frame swap on the house car that we drove up here, and then obviously I've got remodel videos too. But if you like that, make sure to follow along. Now, if you've already hit that subscribe button, let's get on to setting this camper up for our new camping trip. So the electrical hookup uses a 30 amp service that I put in myself. It's got the 30 amp plug hidden here in the rear compartment there, and I've got a 30 amp connector running over to the electrical box over here. I hooked up the water with a Y splitter so that we have a water hose to be able to spray Oliver and Aiden with whenever we want to. And then the other water hose actually runs along to the other side of the truck there and hooks up under the center. The drain currently drains into a bucket and we'll pour it out when we get it full. Eventually, at certain locations that have a sewer, we'll actually run it to a sewer. The stabilizers actually hide in the compartment here with the electrical system, and they do a good job of stabilizing the vehicle so that when we're walking around inside, it doesn't actually sway back and forth. So I've got a set of drive-up leveling blocks, and there will be a link to these in the description below. But that allows me to level it up off of the wheels before I set the stabilizers out. So the stairs attached to the tailgate here on these hooks, and then it's actually adjustable so that you can set it at whatever height it needs to be at. And they store away here in this compartment on the right hand side. We plan on having a fun weekend, so we'll bring you along for some of the enjoyments of playing in the creek with the doggos, hiking up to the top of the mountain, stuff like that. Check it out. This is a little trail at the back of the campground, a little bit unmarked, so we actually get to take the dogs off and let them run around. It seems fine. Came up here to the top of Stone Mountain, and I bet y'all can't guess why it's called that. But here's some of the views that we got from up here. Well guys, that wraps up the camper remodel. Make sure you hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think about it. Y'all have a good one.